Hello, everybody. My name is Ulfgarður, and welcome back to Return of the Obra Dinn. I hope you had a good weekend. I'm pretty excited about this week because I think this might be the first time since we started streaming in spring of last year that I have a schedule for an entire week for streams. So, welcome to that. I'm pretty stoked about it. I don't know about the rest of y'all. Um, so Before I recap the games, since this is not our first intro into it, uh, just to review our schedule, in case you didn't know, it's posted in our Discord server. So by all means, check it out there. Let me give you the link. Make sure my commands still work. There we go. The link is right there. So every day this week, starting at today, we're half an hour late because I had some livestock stuff to take care of. But every other day this week at 1 p.m. Central Time, we'll have something on stream. Today it's Obra Dinn. Tomorrow it's going to be Ark. We're going to return to our community server for Ark Survival Evolved and do a little bit of building, but mostly we're overdue for an exploration trip. So I'm looking forward to checking out some parts of the map we haven't hit yet. And then tomorrow night, since tomorrow is Two Stream Tuesday, tomorrow night will be Dead by Daylight. And I'm happy to work on Killer for a while, but we don't do as much Dead by Daylight as we used to. And the last couple times we have done Dead by Daylight, I've done specifically just Killer. So I think I'm going to open it up to folks, and I'll put this in the Discord too, to see if anybody wants to do some Survivor matches, some Survive with friends, because it's been a minute, and I enjoy the people I play that game with. And then on Wednesday during the day, it's World Building Wednesday, uh, where we don't do a Let's Play of any kind. We are doing fantasy world building for my homebrew D&D campaign setting, which is an entire world I started making 7 years ago, and it is still very much a work in progress. Last time we did world building stuff, we made a settlement, and I'm not entirely sure what we're going to work on this week on World Building Wednesday, but we might do another settlement. We might work on NPCs. Um, there's there's a few things we could do, and I'm not quite sure. That's the downside of having such a fun hobby and undertaking as creating an entire world is there's always a lot of things to do. So trying to prioritize and figure out what next is always fun for an indecisive person like myself. Thursday we're getting back to Obra Dinn, and then Friday we're gonna do some more Ark. So that's the plan for this week. I'm looking forward to it. It's been a long time that I've been looking forward to being able to plan out an entire week's worth of streams ahead of time and actually have a set time for all of it. So, uh, yeah, it's it's going to be a lot of fun. We have another opportunity. If we have another opportunity, there's a demo for a game that I'm really interested in, and I've started playing it on personal time, but I think it's one I might try the demo here on stream at some point and see if folks would be interested. It would be for one of these afternoons because there's some cool art for it, but it's not a particularly visual game. It is largely, for you, it would be auditory because it's a lot of reading. So you would have me doing a lot of reading, but it's a text-based role-playing game that so far I've only put maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours into the demo, so I don't know how much more there is to it. But it's really, really cool so far. The world building is great. The way they introduce you to stuff, even the way they have you kind of make your character, is fun. And it just seems like there's some really good storytelling to be had. So I figure if we do that as an afternoon stream, I know a lot of people are doing chores or at work. If you have the stream on it, hopefully it'll come across kind of like having an audiobook if you can't watch directly. So there's not a lot to visually be involved with other than, maybe weighing in from time to time on some decisions we have to make. But that game is called Road Warden, and that's going to be if I can sneak in even just like half an hour or an hour on another stream this week for some reason we have the chance, I think I'm gonna. But if not, then it'll definitely be happening sometime next week. Especially if we end up finishing Obra Dinn. I don't know how long that'll take. I know we're not going to get through it today, but we'll see if 3 or 4 parts is enough. But speaking of parts of Obra Dinn, let's get back to the game, yeah? So, if you are unfamiliar with Return of the Obra Dinn, let me here. I forgot that it might take a little finagling to remember the game for you guys to see. Because I remember I did that last time. but the the game is, again, the kind of my whole idea with this afternoon streaming schedule. One, it's the most consistent. It's when I can be available most consistently. Um, but also, I want to try and have games that aren't, high octane, that you need to see a lot, that could be decent experiences to hear or have passing attention to, which the Obra Dinn isn't necessarily a mild attention game if you're really wanting to get into it, but it is cool visually. But a lot of the content for this game is going to be me trying to figure stuff out and talking to you guys about it. So this is a mystery game. It's a puzzle solving game where this ship, the Obra Dinn, went missing 5 years ago, and then it just reappeared. And we have a fancy little magical pocket watch that lets us go back in time and see how a person died. But it's a freeze frame of the surrounding area. So there's little snippets where sometimes if people died in quick succession, you get what might have been a 10-second split, but you get individual frames where you can see the progression. And what we have to do is there were 60 people on this ship. None of them are there when the ship's found. So we have to figure out how they died, if they died, maybe they went missing somewhere else, uh, who they are from the ship's log, and we have to figure all of this out with nothing but mostly visual clues, but also there's some of it in auditory snippets that play during one of these sort of flashback moments. You'll see what I mean. There's a lot to keep track of. The game made it pretty clear at the beginning that a lot of times you're going to need to make these decisions based on less than perfect information or less than, crystal clear intelligence. So the nice thing is you can go back and change it, but there's an interesting thing about how they do this where you can get somebody's information all right, but it doesn't lock in and let you know that it's right until you have three correct uh, entries in this report. So you don't actually know if you got somebody right until you figure out enough. And even then, it could be somebody that doesn't click in there. You had them right, you just don't have another set of three. So there's a really cool way of validating what you have, but also not making it easy to know right away that you got it right. Um, and some of it is not just figuring out who's who, but figuring out how would you describe this manner of death, because maybe it fits one of a couple different things. So it's a ton of fun. I will say this game is very graphic. There are there are definitely some intense depictions of death and remains that I didn't necessarily expect going into it. Like I knew that there would be investigating dead bodies. Um, but there's definitely stuff on here that is a little bit more intense than I had expected. That's not a problem for me. That's why I have that content warning up over, let's see, for you guys it's there. Uh, but I wanted to make sure to just put that out there now because that is a thing. We usually try and I usually try and assume a base crowd of 18 or older, not for anything super explicit, but just I cuss, we play violent games, but I still want to make it clear that this game it has some stuff in it that is just gnarly. As an example, there's we've seen two different kinds of monsters that have affected this ship. One of them was sort of a crab spider looking thing. I forgot that there's not spiders in the content warning. Um, but they had little pincers and one of the things was they had decapitated somebody with them. So there's that. That's not absolutely horrible. That happens in a lot of games we see. Uh, but that's not the only form of like body dismemberment that we've seen. So that being said, caveats out there. Give me a second to change this content warning because I don't want to forget to do that. And then we will hop right back to it. we'll add screaming because there is a decent amount of uh, auditory cues of people in pain and dying. So don't wanna sell that short. I guess I'll need to make sure that you guys can actually see that when the game's up because it's in black and white. It's in a really cool visual style, but I want to make sure that you can actually see that. So while we're at the beginning and we haven't really launched in, give me a second to kind of to putz with this stuff. Okay, so this is going to be, there's a delay, so I have to check my monitor. Okay, you can see it there. If we're up top, okay, the deck is okay. So yeah, that should work just fine. I know that my game sound isn't on though, so let's get that fixed. Okay, so yeah, we are working on quite a few things having happened. So there's a series of events. There's chapters where these chapters are all different things, and it started us at the end, the very, very end, and we've been going back, and we've made it to being at chapter 6, Soldiers of the Sea, where the end was a mutiny. Uh, the captain, his first mate, and a handful of other people were the last ones here on the ship, and everybody rebels against the captain, and they all kill each other. Escape, there were more people that were trying to take the lifeboats. Some of them did not. Some of the crew did not appreciate who was allowed to take the lifeboats, and the captain stood by and approved it. And I think that's why the mutiny happened at the end. So there were more people died there. We haven't done bargain. That doesn't happen until some other point. I don't remember specifically why, but we have to do something first. I think it might be we have to more or less finish the game. I don't know if that's a replayability sort of thing or what. The Doom was a Kraken. They just got hit by a Kraken for, as far as I'm aware, like no reason. Um, so this deck that we're standing on that has cannons all askew, that happened because of the Kraken. There were a lot of people that died because of issues in the gun batteries, like cannons that weren't properly secured. The ship gets rocked and the cannons shift on them. Or there was a cannon that fired after the Kraken had bumped the ship, and so the cannon went like this and aimed inside and fired. Soldiers of the Sea, there's spider crab things that look like they have people riding them. Uh, so that's cool. It's horrifying. Um, so we're gonna have to do a little bit of refresh. Um, and how this works is these pictures, everybody has pictures. When it's clear like this, that means we have enough evidence to be able to properly ID who they are, how they died, and if they were killed by someone or something else, like an animal or a person, what it was. Versus when it's fuzzy like this, we don't actually have all the information we need to sort it out. But it's tough. It is really, really hard. Like that one dude whose picture that was clear we just saw, I have no idea what all information we have. Um, like this guy, I'm pretty sure we have him solved, but his info here isn't locked in. We can still change it, so I have to wait until I get 3. I'm pretty sure I've got him right, but he's thrown me off a little bit. We have her. That's the captain's wife. Um, so yeah, there's a lot to do, and I still need to figure out. Um, there we go. I still need to figure out how I want to get started here. Um, and if anybody is in chat and tries to say something, if I don't, if it seems like I'm ignoring you or I didn't see it, I apologize. It's because something about this game specifically, when we bounce back and forth between like time or scenes, my overlay for chat that you guys don't see so that I can see while I'm playing the game, it just gets turned off and I don't always realize it right away. So I apologize if that happens. But that's where we are. Let me fix something on my monitor itself. There we go. Okay. All right. So where are we? We have a lot of the Doom still to figure out, which is the Kraken. But I'm real curious because it says we should know this guy. 4 memories. He appears 4 times. So he's in a picture. He's in a picture of the crew that was sketched. Memories on the deck map. Oh. Okay, so yeah. He died there. He was injured in all of these and was crawling away. So in order to see how he actually got hurt to get back there, I don't think that's necessarily relevant, because I think what happened here was he got shot. Like, he got away, he was injured, he got out of sight on the other side of a wall that separates like the center part of the ship from a little sort of airlock thing. I don't know the terms for these. I'm not a nautical person. And the actual outside of the ship. So like if there's something that punctures, you can get in there and fix it without everything in here being ruined. But so he got on the other side of this wall, and I think somebody fired a shot at the monster, and it went through the wall and hit him. So that's where we are. Um, yeah, because you. Let's go back in time and see what happened. Yeah, so, okay. He got messed up. That dude got messed up because what happened, this cannon right here got knocked over and fired that way, and it killed 2 people. So it launched back here and hit this. And the sort of the way the puzzle solving works is I theoretically should be able to go back through different scenes if I'm allowed access here. To figure out who he is, but I don't actually know. Yeah, I don't actually know who he is, because there he is. Alright. And I don't have enough to actually figure out his name. You, I'm pretty sure we know certainly, and you. But I must not have something right somewhere, because yeah, this guy's in a few things, but I don't know anything about him. I suppose theoretically I should see how he died. Okay, first memory he appears in is okay. Because he's one of those ones that I saw and was just like, how? I haven't even noticed this dude before. Why do I have all the information I need to figure him out? So I think that's what I want to start with, is try and figure out some of these that it says you have everything you need, because that will make it easier if I can lock all that down. I can figure out. I can try to figure things out that way of where they are, or like I have more reliable information to work with. Okay, so memories. Escape part 1. Where was escape part 1? Let's see it on the map. Okay, escape part 1. Oh, that's right. That's the first time we see him, isn't it? Yeah, so he's in the Doom. He shows up there. Oh no, that's not what I meant to do. The buttons for this aren't always super intuitive, even though there's not a lot of them, so they're not horribly complicated. Okay, Soldiers of the Sea. Yeah, we've seen him a few times. And so what's interesting is as we work back our way through time, we start with the last people alive. And then the chapter before that is the previous last people alive before they got whittled down. And so as we go along, there's more and more people you have not seen yet, except maybe when they died, that you have to start trying to keep track of who's who. So it's wild. It's such a cool way to tell a story. Okay, yeah. So that's him. And this isn't where I want to be for this. I don't think. No, I didn't come back here before. Okay, just want to check. Anybody over here? Yeah, we can walk through some of these things since we're essentially just viewing a snippet in time. Who are you? Oh, you keep popping up. I don't know if I've seen your death, but you're okay. You're Martin, if I'm correct. Um, First memory is where? In the Doom. Okay, so this is the first time we see him. He might not be Martin, but Martin was a name we learned from an audio snippet at the beginning of the Doom section. Who are you? You're that guy. I think you die during the Mutiny chapter that is chronologically after this. So, yeah. Yeah. I do want to get down here and see, because I think this... No. Oh. This is the horrible spider thing. This is new. I did not find this last time. And so that's how it died. So we're not only tracking the deaths of the soldiers, the sailors, we're also tracking the deaths of these monsters. That's interesting. Okay, do we know you yet? I don't know that I've seen you yet. Okay, one memory. Okay. And this initial portion, we only have a limited amount of time. We can't actually interact with most things. And then it'll sort of give us our free time. But so it gives us a chance to move around before we can start inputting info into the journal, if I remember right. Yeah, that's the dude I checked. Okay. Who are you? There we go. Okay, on the cargo deck. The corpse was moved post-mortem. Is this all? Who is this and how did they die? That's what we're trying to find out. Okay. So in the picture, who are you? You're that guy. I don't have the information to ID you clearly yet. You again. Okay. I think I have him right. He's just kind of hard because there's somebody that's referred to as the Frenchman. And if I can positively confirm that this dude is the Frenchman, there's only one French person in the whole ship's manifest. So that would, if I have that right, then I've confirmed a few things that are kind of variable, but he's one of the ones that they've given very ample information for. But yeah, it definitely seems like somebody's writing these things, or maybe it's like a ghost sort of situation. But then when it was dead, there wasn't anybody there. Okay, so that was new. But yeah, now it doesn't look like there's anybody on it. I wish the door would stay open. And here I said I wasn't going to go looking at new stuff till I figured out some old things, but... Oh. Okay, the cargo hold. Alright. I'm intrigued. We'll look at this.
Keep pressure here.
Hold him down. What madness is this? 20 years my steward had never a doubt on your sanity. Explain yourself.
Those ungodly beasts carry a curse! Throw them back, or doom us all!
Tie him up and put him in the lazarette with those things. He may yet find his senses.
Come on.
All's fine, John. Been in worse spots, I think. Where's the rest of his leg?
Okay. So, a couple important pieces of information there. Um, the where it said that he was someone's steward, we have a glossary of terms, and everybody's like position role on the ship is listed in the manifest. So if we can figure out who that was talking and who's who, because this is a lot, um, then the steward is exactly an ample amount of information. Him, we have properly ID'd. He's the first mate. So you are John? Yeah, you must be John. Okay. That's the captain. I don't think I have him properly ID'd yet. So, okay. Oh, all right. We're already on the next one. I didn't mean to start that. Unholy captives. Yeah, everything on this ship went wrong. It was one catastrophe after another. Okay, so John Davies, fourth mate. Are there any other Johns? Or John Naples from Wales. Okay. Henry Evans is the surgeon's mate. Where are the stewards? Okay. Uh, First mate steward. I do have somebody attributed as Paul Moss. I don't think they're confirmed yet, though. Get my chat overlay back up if it wants to. Okay. And the accents do matter. Where it says where people are from over there on the side, that is important. With when hearing those sound clips at the beginning of the flashbacks, they do have accents that, as far as I can tell, are supposed to help. Like I have heard the one Frenchman I've heard somebody with a French accent. Okay. No. I don't think this is John. Uh, I think John's the injured dude. Wait. Okay. Okay, so I was on the right entry. I just got to it the wrong way. Okay. Yeah, I do think this is John. Philip is the captain steward. Okay. That's a wild range of names. Yes, it is, Pez. There's a lot of them. There are a lot of them. There's a way too much happening here. I need to backtrack and properly ID some people. Well, wait a minute. I don't know how he died, the surgeon. But I mean, that's definitely a surgeon, even though it says I shouldn't have enough to ID him. I mean, is he not the ship's surgeon as he's sitting there next to a surgeon's bag? Getting ready to work on somebody's leg? You're this dude who I also don't know why I have enough info on him. Alright, you guys, there's you. You're what's his face. Yeah. You might be Martin. I think you're the one I was thinking was Martin. Good luck with your boat mystery and your jiggly compass. Thanks, Pez. Thank you for the lurk. I appreciate it. This guy. He might be Martin. No, I don't have enough. But meanwhile, Yeah, that dude, it said I have enough information for him. And Martin was a name we heard auditorily. That definitely does seem to be one of the things of you suddenly do have enough is when you hear somebody's name. What the hell? A wardrobe. Okay. There is a shitload to unpack here, and I am not ready for this. So we're gonna get out of here and get back to real time so that I can maneuver around